Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me now to invite the Permanent Secretary, General Services Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation in the person of Dr. Maurice Mbaeri, whom I have the honor and privilege of inviting to please come here and give us a very, very brief speech. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Your Excellency, the Chairman of the occasion and the former Governor of Adamawa State, as well as former Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Your Excellencies, the former Governor of Ogun State, and other very distinguished personalities here present. For want of time, I would want to respectively recognize everybody collectively so that we save some time. I want to welcome all of you here today on this very unique event of the Peace, Unity, and Security Lecture Series, organized by the leaders, the Nigerian, Leaders and Life News House, with a very peculiar theme: sustaining peace, the growing divide of a nation. I want to particularly thank the convener, our dear sister, Chioma Ebo, who has taken to this line of vocation despite her background in the university. And this simply means that for a very successful person, there's no restriction to the field of endeavor. I really commend her for taking to this line of vocation, especially at this point in time when the youth are roaming the streets of the day, searching for white-collar jobs. So that is a very great feat for you, Chairman. And I also want to thank the organizer generally for observing the COVID-19 protocols in the sitting arrangements. This is a burning issue in the nation now, since the whole world has been ravaged by this deadly pandemic. And then, of course, the intervention of the government in the drive to fight the virus. Government is doing everything humanly possible to ensure that our citizens' lives are secured and protected. Now, back to the theme of today's lecture series. I sincerely identify myself with this chosen topic, especially coming from a youth. You understand that the youth all over the world are regarded as the future of every nation. And then, of course, critical vanguards of peace, unity, and security everywhere. So I am not surprised that the youth in this country, represented by Ms. Chioma Ebo and her colleagues, have identified a very critical part of this country's challenges in the area of security, especially coming at this point in time where we have divergent phases of security challenges, ranging from kidnapping, cattle rustling, banditry, drug abuse, and so on and so forth. So this lecture series wouldn't have come at a much better time other than now that the country is bedeviled by these monsters. I want to also emphasize on the need for the youths all over the country to come together and preach peace at all times. The youth incidentally dominate the population of the country. And of course, when they come out together to preach for peace and to ensure that peace reigns, the country will be more stable than what we're having today. As a matter of fact, the government is doing much to ensure that the youth are better placed in this country through several government interventions, especially in the social investment area, where government has targeted the youth in the area of empowerment through the series of programs the government has rolled out. Such programs like the trader money, the youth empowerment scheme, so many of them series of programs, social investment programs government has rolled out are all aimed at empowering the youth and then of course curtailing the unemployment rate in the country. The government is doing so much to encourage the youth to be self-sufficient and to engage in ventures that can even create employment opportunities for their contemporaries. So on that note, the youth has a role to play in appreciating the efforts of government in this area and consolidating on whatever the government has done to empower them at all times. A similar lecture series was also organized not too long ago by the traditional rulers and religious leaders across the country to preach for peace, especially at this point in time where we have series of security challenges. Government is doing everything also to encourage our traditional rulers, our religious leaders, and then of course our traditional institutions to strengthen them to ensure that they reach out to their wards, to their subjects, all within their communities. And these subjects are mostly populated by the youth. So if the youth can come together at any point in time to preach peace and to demonstrate peace and to practice peace, this country will be better off. I want to ask a question. Where did we get it wrong? How did we get to where we are today in the area of security challenges? I remember those years when we were growing up. I remember how free we were, how creative we were, how innovative the youth were then. But unfortunately today, most youths are all engaged in illicit activities. If it's not drug abuse, they are into Yahoo and other vices that cannot help to build a nation. Where did we get it wrong? How did we get to where we are? This is a big question that the youths, through this lecture series, must have to answer. To that effect, I want to encourage the organizers of this series to emphasize on inclusion of value reorientation in the curriculum of institutions at all levels. Our values have so much been eroded that somebody can just pick up a machete and tear off somebody's head without any emotion. Where did we get it wrong? So value reorientation should be reintroduced. If it is there in the curriculum, I think I want to challenge the Vice Chancellor, who is an academic, that you people should go back and find a way to include, if it's not there. If it is there, reinforce such values so that when graduates come out from universities, they have the mental balancing of a united city, a united country, a united Nigeria. To that effect, I want to commend everybody, and of course, to commend particularly the organizers of this event, and to say that for this initiative you have, the future is very bright for you. I want to thank everybody for giving me the privilege to make these remarks, even though it is an informal remark. But then, the major challenge there is that we, as youths, when I say we as youths, I mean the organizers, have quite a lot to do in sensitizing our colleagues, our peers, our brothers and sisters in every part of this country to embrace peace and to preach peace and to practice peace. Thank you so much, and God bless you.